Hello and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites podcast. Today's episode number 26, and we have an amazing guest on the show, and we have also an amazing co-host who will be here with us for the last time, unfortunately. At least for
So
now,
sad.
she might come
So
back.
sad.
Yes. Our co-host of today is the one and only. She's the best tip specialist in the entire universe. It is Anabelle Hiller. Welcome on the show, Anabelle. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah? Amazing. Did
Yeah,
you fix
bit
some nips
sleepy.
today?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna,
That's
but
sad.
to be fair, I always I don't know, if I know that I have something happening at a certain time, it's really hard to not focus on that thing and prepare for that thing.
Yeah, because that thing is, of course, quite unique because we have this amazing guest. It is the one and only Urban Hafner. He is the founder of the fountainpencompanion.com website, which we will talk about later on the show. But Urban, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here.
Also, how are you, Joost?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you so much. I have a lot of things on my mind, but it's okay. It's okay. It's a really fun week approaching. We will visit Yardolet in Birmingham, and we'll make some videos over there. So that's a lot of fun, but also a lot of preparation. So yeah,
I
a lot of
bet.
things on my mind. But before we start to do the podcast, we always do the pen check.
The pen check.
And Annabelle, would you like to start with your pen check?
I am so prepared for this pen check.
Amazing.
And
It's your last pen check, so remember that.
It's my last pen check. Yeah. And also, I used fpc.inc or fountainpencompanion.com for this pen check. I'm very, very prepared. So what I did is I went to the FPC website and I went to the leaderboards and I checked out what the most popular pens and inks are. And so I went down this list, right? We can actually do it on camera. I can show you. I don't know. Can you see me? Can you see it? Oh no, I think I closed it. Never mind. Let's go back to my face. Damn it, I tried. But I went to the website. Thank you. So I went to the website. I'm trying to add production quality here. Anyway, so I went to the website, and apparently the most popular pen that we have is, that FPC users use, is the TWSBI Eco, which I own.
Nice.
And then I went to the most popular inks. The most popular ink appears to be Diamine Oxblood, which I don't have. And the second most popular ink is Iroshizuku Yamabudo, which I don't have.
But it's a close call. It's only seven people that... If only 7 more people have the Yamabudo ink, then it's the most popular ink.
But I have a sample of it because at some point somebody utilized the website and made me a sample of Yamabudo. So nice. That's what I did. So I inked up my TWSBI Eco in, is it lime? Is this the lime pen? I don't know. Why am I upside down? Weird. And I put Yamabudo ink in it from an ink sample that is right here. And that's what I did.
It's amazing. And what nib do you have on that TWSBI Eco?
It's a fine. I don't know why it's upside down, but I guess I can just turn it around.
No, now it's upside down.
Oh, now it's upside down. Weird. I see it all mirrored.
This is okay.
Weird. Anyway, it's a fine nib. Sorry for that technical hiccup. It's very confusing.
No problem.
But yeah, that's what I have inked today. I have a TWSBI Eco with a fine nib and Pilote Shizuku Yamabudo as advised by fpc.inc.
And now you'll have to use it for another 2 months.
Oh god, yeah. I'm still working off the inked pens from the last few weeks because I tried to be considerate of our guests and I want to use a pen in honor of them for that week. But now I just have an extra 5 pens inked that I usually wouldn't have had ink because I tried to keep it to 4 at a time. So sucks to be me.
But there's plenty of time to use them, so no worries.
I know. It just mentally it's nice to keep it to a minimum. Some people have 30 pens inked at a time.
That's also one of the leaderboards that I saw currently inked up. Wait, where is it? Or not?
Yeah, not quite. So this is how many
Currently not.
times you use that feature, right? So
Right.
Yes,
it's
of
not like
course.
people
Okay.
have thousands of pens inked at the same time.
Oh,
Although
because
I would guess
that
there are
was
some that have it.
that was what I was thinking. Like, wow, do some people really have like 1,591 pens inked up at a moment? And I was like, whoa. But yeah,
I'm
I
very
see what
bad at
happens there.
keeping track of it, to be fair.
Mm,
I super like it for my collection, but the actually currently inked thing, I don't know. I usually have that analog on my notebook. But that's fine. Right.
that's fine.
Right?
That's completely fine. But before we start to talk more about the Fountain Pen Companion website, Urban, what is your pen check for this week?
My pen check. Let's see if that works. So this is a pen, a ton from Giant's Pens, made for me. You can compare it with a Queveco Sport and see it's a pocket pen. But
Nice.
it has
I
two
remember.
nice features. Number one, it has a number 8 size nib.
Wow.
I mean, sort of the goal here was to see how small can we make a pen with a number 8 size nib, right? So there were some compromises made. So it kind of posts, but it doesn't post as nice as it could be. But we wanted it to be short. But yeah, that's what it is. And the other thing is the material. It's one of those composite materials out of acrylic and wood, which is really cool.
It looks really
That's
nice.
so cool. Well
It
done,
looks really
Tone.
nice.
Exactly.
Yes, Tone, great job, Tone.
Yeah.
Of course, a guest of our show, I think 2 weeks ago. So if you haven't seen that podcast yet, make sure to check it out. But I really like the oversized nib on that small pen. I was quite surprised to see that nib on such a small pen.
It is a bit ludicrous.
Yes.
Exactly.
Let's
But
go
that
to
was
my
the
pen
idea.
check because I also have quite a small pen here with me today. It is the Esterbrook JR Pocket, and I don't have such a big nib on it, or at least Esterbrook doesn't have these kind of big nibs on the GR Pocket, but it is the latest color. It is the palm green. So I don't know if I can show it properly, but it was just launched and it came in quite quick from Esterbrook. So usually when brands are launching new colors, it takes ages before you finally have them in your hands. But this was announced, I think, a week ago or maybe 2 weeks, and we already have it here. So that's pretty nice, and I have it here to show it. It's a really really great green, and of course we are the green experts because, well, Appelboom green. And I really like the gold, the yellow gold metal details. So it's pretty nice.
What ink did you put in it?
There's no ink in it. What do you suggest?
I mean, I
It
can't
just
really
came
see
in. It's still warm.
Well, then you should have run to an ink book and compared it to our ink swatches right away.
Maybe some listeners or viewers can help us out by letting me
probably.
know in the comments below which ink I should ink it up. Let me know. That was the pen check. Then, Urban, I have a question for you. And the question was not made up by me. It was a question from our previous guest. That was Ben Walsh from Gravitas Pens. He was here on the show last week. It was a great episode. A lot of fun with him. Some serious talks as well. But he has a question for you, and he didn't know that you were going to be on the show, so it's quite fun. And his question was, if you could change one thing in your career path, what would it be?
Yeah, so I listened to the episode yesterday and I thought about it, and I couldn't really come up with anything. Not because my career is so great and I'm the best, because that's Anabelle, of course. But because I think it's important to make mistakes and to try out stuff. And sometimes it just doesn't work, right? So I was a manager for a year. I basically hated it. But now I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And I think it's... I don't think it helps you to look back and say, oh, what if I had done something else? It's more important to figure out what you did wrong and at least not make the same mistake twice. I guess
Yeah.
that's the best you can hope for.
Otherwise, you would have lacked the data to know, right? Like
Yeah.
your path just is a whole bunch of data collecting, and based upon that, you make better choices in the future, right?
Or at least different choices.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever works.
No, it's true. It's true. I completely agree on that. But maybe you could have started with the Fountain Pen Companion website earlier in life. That would be great. Or not?
I don't
I
know.
don't think there was a need for it, right?
It just came at the right point in time, I think. I was surprised how good it actually went, because it started out with almost no features at all, and people liked it already. So I think even
Yeah.
that went surprisingly well.
There was just a
Yeah.
need for it. All right, talking about that, can you tell us a little bit how it all started and what the function of the websites are, and why everybody should use it, or not everybody, but the people that need it?
Yeah. So for me, fountain pens are nice, but the fun is actually trying out all the different inks. And while I have two drawers full of ink bottles, sometimes at some point you run out of space, and maybe you don't want to buy full bottles because I don't know how many lifetimes of ink I now have. So a lot of people started trading ink samples. So when I did it, it was mainly in the Pennen Slack, and it was a bit complicated, right? So you have to find someone who has what you're looking for, and then you have to compare and say, hey, I would be interested in this stuff, and what do you have for me? Can we do some trading, right? I also saw that some people started to using Google Sheets for that, and it got very complicated quickly. So I thought, hey, I'm a software developer. I build websites for a living. What if I throw something together really fast? So the first version only allowed you to add your inks and decide which ones you wanted to share publicly and which ones you didn't want to, right? So you could say, hey, here are my inks, pick a few and send me your link, so I will pick a few. And that was how it started. And surprisingly to me, at least, people were excited about it, probably also because I was in that community already and I saw the need. And then, I don't know, people started using it. And then I slowly grew it to also include this currently inked feature. So if you want to keep track, like what ink is in what pen, so you can do that there. So you also need to have a list of pens. And yeah, so then it sort of started collecting all the data. And you need to sort of pare it down a bit, right? So the problem with inks is that there are so many names for an ink. Sometimes it's just people can't spell Dutch. So you have all the Ackermann inks, which have all the spelling mistakes in it. And sometimes it's Chinese inks and there are 10 different translations. But you sort of, for Fountain Pen Companion, you want to say, hey, this is the ink and it has these
Yeah, we're
5 to
talking
10
about
names.
all about the same color.
Yeah. And this was sort of the next thing for me then, to sort of figure out a way to sort of come up with a not definitive, but at least a better list of what inks are out there. And then once you have that, you can say, hey, one person said, hey, this is this color. And now everyone who has that ink can benefit from it. And they don't need to enter that color anymore. And then you can sort by the color names and you can have all those statistics of what's a popular ink. So if you were to look at the number 3 as a good example, so this Emerald of Chivor, at the bottom you can see all the various names for it. This is all the same inks, right? The same ink.
Right, I'm looking it up right now.
It is just
Oh my god! Yeah, because some are French, some
German.
say 1670 anniversary, some just say 1670.
Yeah.
Some say
Wow.
Jacobin, some say Gilbert.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And once you have that, you can sort of build on top of it and say, hey, and now I can sort of link out to various reviews of all the inks somewhere. And if I had time,
Yeah, because
I could do more,
also
but
reviews can be found on the website, right, of the inks.
yeah, this is something from I think last year where I started to find all the blogs and all the YouTube channels and try to add reviews to sort of make it more than just your personal, I don't know, helper to keep your ink collection in check, but to also be a resource and sort of.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I remember I think when you and I met, or when I learned about the website first, I think the scanning or the entering of the hex code of the ink color had just come in, right? Which was very exciting. And I remember having this app on my phone and trying to like scan my swatches and stuff. But then there'd be all sorts of scans and like suggestions for what the ink might be. And then the reviews just really nail it down and you really get a sense of what the ink is rather than just a hex code, which is, you know, it kind of depends on your monitor and everything. For you to actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
Most of the hex codes, most of the colors, I must admit, I did, right? I just Googled for pictures of the ink and picked out a random color. So they are all a bit sketchy, I would say. But then we're talking about monitors and lighting, and it's not the real thing anyway. So
yeah, especially if it's a color changing ink.
yeah, and if you start having inks that look different on different paper, then and it's like 3 colors and sheen, and then it's you can't really.
And whether it's very saturated or not very saturated.
But what I really like is that you have so much information on the website. You know, if people are looking for other inks, you get so much info on it. And also the leaderboards. I think it's just funny, you know, to see how many bottles a person has. So at this moment, there's one person who has 1,270 ink bottles. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's not
Jagan
it makes me feel
we
better
don't even
about
have that many
myself.
bottles in ink.
Yeah, and sort of Jagan also actually added all those separately, one by one, to the website,
Wow.
which is the most amazing thing, actually. Because I do have a feature where people can send me their Excel spreadsheets and I import them.
Oh, that's better.
But he actually just did it.
Yeah, I used to be number 35 on the ink brands list, and I felt really good about that. And now, who knows where I'm at? Wait, it says on the dashboard, I think, right?
Let's have a look.
Oh, God. Oh, golly. I am now at 174.
So you have 207 inks.
I have a lot of inks. Wait, actually, I can open up my browser, and then we can have a look. Maybe that would be interesting. Hold on. I'm a tech whiz. I know how to do all of this.
Wow.
Here, this is my profile. So if you have a look around, this is just the main page, the dashboard, and you can see. Allegedly, I have 7 currently inked, but that's not true because I didn't update it. I have 207 different inks, 85 of which I've used. Oops. Most of which I've swabbed, and I have 2 archived. This is beautiful, this visualization that points out just how much I'm lacking in purples and pinks, but I really like blues and greens and teals. It shows that I have an affinity for Pelican and Pilote, and I have a ton of diamond inks.
Who doesn't, right?
True, diamond inks is just so easy to. Oh, I'm not going to show you my pens because. Oh, that is also privatized for everyone, right? So nobody.
Yeah, so the inks you can decide if you want to make public or private each entry, but for the pens I thought, hey, I'm not giving out a shopping list for anyone to steal a pen collection, right?
No, that's really clever.
So
and then you can also put in whether you have a bottle or a sample, which is super handy So, because that way today I found that I did have the Pilot Yamaburo, but I only have it as a sample, so I could go into my sample drawer and just grab it and ink my pen. And now I've used it, so I'm going to put that into the website in a bit as well. And 17
You can do it
of the
right
inks.
now. You can update
Oh
it.
God, nah! I'm so stressed now doing it in front of people. Look away. Okay, so I go here, and I've used it, and then we save. Oh, and I
Save.
guess, and also now it's empty, so I should technically archive it as well. But done.
Wow. Amazing.
That's it. What a cool
and
website.
That's of course a nice table for when you're on the computer. But when you're on a phone, that's not so much fun anime. So on the top left, those nice buttons there, you can switch to some views. So it looks like an ink swatch.
Is that new?
That's for the inks. That's new. For the currently ink feature, that's been there for a while, because that's sort of the on-the-go feature, right? You're out, you have your phone, you say, "I've used that
Yeah,
pen
that's why
today."
That's why I've not used it for a while.
But now you can.
Yeah, now I will. Oh, this is old. This is from 2021. Oops. That's okay. That's okay. Anyway, that's the website.
Really nice. I really like it. And how many users are there right now, Urban, on the website?
So asking any web developer about
More or
users
less.
is, of course, a hard question. The best answer I can give you is that there are about 4,500 accounts where people have confirmed their email address. I throw all the spam accounts away. And it's, of course, hard to tell how many are actually using it on a regular basis. But it's looking at my statistics here, it's like on an average day, there's maybe 100 to 200 inks added. So
that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a ton.
Yeah, and in total, it's by now over 300,000 inks that people have.
And from now on, everybody that's watching this podcast is also going to use it, and the whole website will explode, and everyone will use it. So
I mean, I've been
great.
recommending it to customers for ages. Like, especially if you have new customers coming in who like to dabble, right? And like learning about inks. And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I use this website, and it's really, really, really neat. And it's just, I don't know. I've used it so much. I have too many samples. I saw, Urban, that you're still working off all the samples that you have.
Yeah, I'm currently working on my samples from 2017. And I think I started sort of, I don't know, in August or so. And I'm not done, not even half done for that year. So I think I could probably stop buying inks. Obviously, I'm not going to, but yeah. At some point, you have to start using them up, because otherwise they just dry out and they're not fun anymore.
What is your most popular ink, Urban?
Mine. So my favorite, I would say, is Diamine Green Black. So it's a really dark green, and it's really nice to use because it's fairly wet, I would say. And I mean, I don't care what color I use. No one looks at my notes anyway, but it's also neat that it almost looks like a black, but when you look closely, it's actually a dark green.
No, but green is always a great idea, you know?
Yeah.
You see it here.
Yes, I mean, I'm a green fan anyway.
We all love green, so that's great. All right.
What's your favorite ink?
Mine?
Joost. Yeah.
Mine, I always use, you know it, it's the Mont Blanc Irish Green.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Boring. Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. But and what's yours?
I think Tsukiyo. Pilote Hiroshizuku Tsukiyo. It's like a dirty blue.
Nice.
Yeah. Interesting. Now you go do you think?
I'm going now to tell a little bit about some new products that we have recently added on our website.
New products.
And the first new introduction I want to make is a US exclusive of Pilote. It is the Pilote Custom 743. It is in a gorgeous green again. And the name that Pilote gave this green is Verdigris green and is highlighted with yellow gold details. Verdigris is the literal translation of Verdigris, or the green of Greece. The 743 is a cartridge converter fountain pen that has the same body size as the popular custom 823 or 823, but it features a concavity converter. The 14 karat gold nib comes in a wide range of nib options from extra fine to double broad and falcon. Since we have a store in the United States, we are allowed to sell this US exclusive. So Anabelle, what do you think of this new Pilote that we will carry?
I mean, I'm a big Pilote fan.
That's why I'm asking you.
So I only have this picture here, right? So again, I want to see it in real life to see what the color is actually like. But I love green and I love Pilote, and I don't actually have that model. I have a lot of I have a lot of Pilotes at this point, but yeah, no, this is really exciting, especially because it's a US exclusive that I usually don't have access to.
But we will bring it to Europe, no worries.
Yeah. What ink would match it, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, you could put in Rohr and Klinger Verdigris, which is a blue, but I'm not sure
Yeah,
that would be a good
right.
match.
It looks way different. I don't know. So I have my coloring here, and I kind of hold it against the monitor to see. But I wonder if it's actually going to be this particular green that we see in the photo here.
It should be.
I can't tell.
They advertise it with this color, so it would be strange if they come up with a purple pen, right?
Yeah, I know, but so Joost,
I understand.
I love you and all, but there's different hues, and sometimes there's a bit of a difference between the color of the photo and the color of the pen in real life.
I know. And especially with these kind of colors. So the green, the turquoise colors, they always are a little bit different.
Which these are my favorite color. Like I have so many of them on my coloring, and they're all different, and it all matters. It's all very important. It's very important. So I wonder which one it actually matches up with. That's the eternal goal, right? To match your pen with your ink. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I hope we get it in the shop. I hope people order it so I can play with it. I mean, so I can check it for you as soon as possible.
We will have it for sure. We will have it. All right, let's go to the second pen that is that's added on our website, because this is the first Montegrappa limited edition of 2023, and it is celebrating a scientific hero whose insights transformed the world. Anabelle, do you know who that guy is?
Of course I know.
Okay. It will be part of a new Avanguardia Collectors series and is a tribute to Nicolaus Copernicus. The Polish-born Copernicus was born in 1473, that's a long time ago, is considered the father of modern astronomy. He was a Renaissance polymath whose heliocentric theory of the solar system contradicted the beliefs of contemporary astronomers, philosophers, and religious leaders. His findings would not become widely accepted for more than 200 years and remained banned by the Catholic Church until 1835. To celebrate the 550th anniversary of the first European scientist to propose that Earth and other planets revolve around the sun, Montegrappa releases 550 fountain pens and rollables, including a 55-piece numbered reserve edition comprising fountain pen and a companion wristwatch. So that's pretty cool. Besides the black and white celluloid grip section, the Nicolaus Copernicus writing instrument is crafted entirely from sterling silver. Two central elements are produced using lost wax casting, a custom Risolino clip depicting mathematicians' compasses, and a working reproduction of his celestial globe on the cap top, which is pretty cool. Both objects feature on Copernicus's official monument in front of Warsaw's Polish Academy of Sciences. Engraving provides further ornamentation with Vermeil depiction the sun on the lower barrel at the center of 8 orbiting planets hand-detailed in opal sand enamel finishes and distributed across the length of the barrel and cap. Each enamel application results in different finishes that give every pen its own unique character. Traditional Slavic cross-stitch patterns decorate the blind cap and cap band, while Copernicus' signature is presented on the vinyl. The fountain pen has a piston filling mechanism and the 18-karat gold nib, which is customized with Copernicus' likeness and the Earth orbiting the Sun. The packaging is also quite special with a walnut display case with an acrylic lid that provides a view onto a pen, and on the reserve edition, the timepiece. Anabelle, what do you think of this amazing limited edition of Montegrappa?
I'm a bit worried about the ball at the top and that it might be a
Why
bit
is that?
fragile. I don't know how well it's connected there. I feel like it could. I mean, so I see a lot of people who drop pens all the time.
Mhm.
So I
Don't do
feel
that
like
with
if
this
that
one,
pen was
please.
dropped, I feel like I could see a wonky little solar system on top of that pen very quickly.
Yeah. And it's made
Um,
if it's made out of silver, right? It's the perfect fidget spinner. And then how do you clean it? I wonder.
Oh, true. I mean, it looks like the top, if that's also silver, it looks like it's already a bit darkened anyway. So maybe it's
Mhm.
not meant. So if that's not highly polished, that's fine.
That's the perfect ADHD pen with a fidget spinner built in.
Right. Can you actually spin it?
Of course you can.
The top bit? The top.
Yes?
Oh, can
It's
you?
a moving part.
Oh, damn.
It's now showing in B-roll.
Okay.
You don't see it right now, but it will be shown right now.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that B-roll. Yeah, if you can actually you can actually fidget with it and spin the things around, then that sounds like a hoot.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty ballsy of an American, an Italian company to support scientific evidence rather than the stance of the Catholic Church. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Would you like to know a little bit more about the pricing? Or are you too
Sure.
afraid to hear this?
I mean, it's not. I'm assuming it's not going to be within my budget, but go ahead.
So the fountain pen alone, it is around 4,690 euros. But if you also would like to have the wristwatch, then you have to think more or less about 11,000 euros. So
Right. I mean, you like watches. That seems right up your alley.
it's the second time in a really short time that people think that I'm into watches, but I only have 2 watches.
Yeah,
So
but
I
you
have
have
this
a
watch,
fancy watch.
and I have another watch, but that's about it.
Exactly. But you really, really cared about those watches.
I
Right?
care about everything what I have.
Huh. I don't know. I'm not a watch person, which is sacrilegious of me to say because I went to a school where they teach literal watchmaking and clock stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, cool. Everybody knock yourself out. I think I'll pass on this one, but what do you think,
Maybe
Urban?
next time. Annabelle, what is
Uh-huh.
your question for Urban?
Yes. My question is, Urban, you've done so much for this community, and we're very, very grateful. how could we give back if we wanted to? How can we support your endeavor? And where might that endeavor lead you? Do you have any more exciting plans for the website, features that don't exist yet, or do you think we just about have exhausted this project?
Well, just
Sorry,
like
that's a
any
three-part
other
question. I'm sorry.
it's just like any other project, you never exhaust the possibilities. I mean, there's always more to do than there's time. So if you want to support me, so I've intentionally made this a free thing, right? So you don't need to support me. You can just do whatever you want. You can try it out. If you don't like it, you can download your data again and I can delete your account. That's sort of done like that intentionally. But of course, there's some outlay that I have to spend each month on server costs and stuff like that. And I had my nice mascot designed, the fountain pen capybara that also costs some money. So you can support me on Patreon. There's about 200 people currently doing this, and that more than covers the current costs, which is really great. And that also gives me a bit of a headroom to say, hey, now I need to upgrade certain things to keep it running smoothly. But of course, this is only a side project for me. So there isn't that much work going on. So recently there was a redesign to make it look a bit nicer, but that was actually not me, but someone else. So if you're a developer, you can actually help out if you want to. So it's all open source. You can take the code and you can play around with it and give back if you want to. So that's someone actually did that from Norway. Thank you, William, for all the design work, because that's not something I'm good at. But yeah, sort of it's always goes in spurts. Sometimes I'm inspired and I do stuff, and sometimes it's just months where I do the minimum, which is basically keep the site running, to sort of say, hey, here's a new ink. This ink belongs to that cluster of inks, and here's new reviews. So it's like, it is sort of part of my daily routine. I spend about, I think, 10 minutes each day in the morning to say, hey, here's new data coming in. I need to check if that's all fine, or if someone entered I don't know, big crystal. We don't need to track that one. But yeah, if I had a lot of time, I would work more towards taking me out of the equation, I would say. Because at some point, I'm probably not going to continue doing all the manual work, right? And it would be nice, I don't know, not now and not in the next years, I guess, but eventually it would be nice if you can sort of have the community run that whole thing themselves, right?
Like mods that
like
could...
something like that, or just there's a new ink and then 2-3 people get asked, is that new? Does that belong to, is that just a different name for an ink? And then it's sort of the system figures out, I don't know, by consensus, if 2-3 people say the same thing, then that's it. And then I can go on holiday for a week and not come back to, I don't know, 100 new inks and 100 new reviews to look at and stuff like that.
It seems like a very community-driven kind
Is
of
there
thing
not a
anyway.
future that you would like to add to the website?
I mean, it would be nice to extend these community features a bit more, right? So currently it's like you have reviews, and if someone enters a color, then everyone has the same colors. But what about the rest, right? It would be nice if you could sort of say, hey, this ink is dry, this ink is wet, it has shimmer and stuff like that. Or maybe people could give reviews, write reviews directly on the site, and you can sort of track a bit more and sort of strengthen this community feature. And of course, once you have all this data, right? If I mean, for me, I've now tracked for a few years inks and pens and what what ink I put in which pens, and you could sort of have fun with that and make a lot of graphs and historical data and say, hey, this year I've used this pen and this ink the most, or stuff like that, which is also fun, I guess.
Ugh, I love data.
Right now you can
visualizing data.
There's more data to download than it's actually displayed on the site, so you can download CSV files, but you would then have to play around with it yourself in Excel, which I sometimes do. But it would be nice if that came just for free in the site, I guess.
Yeah, I'm already excited that you can organize your colors or your inks by color. I remember that was a huge debate because colors has so many variables to it, or too many axes to actually do it to show it in a linear kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's like three, sort of, normally it's 3 dimensions, right? Sort of depending on this red, green,
saturation,
and blue.
Right.
Yeah, depending on how you do it, how you call them, right? But in the end, you want a one-dimensional representation of that, right? So you have to make some compromises. So that's why this sorting is never perfect, and you just have to pick one and say, hey, that's good enough, I guess.
But at least it's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome. Sometimes I'm tempted to
really
take my swatches and then organize them based on the sorting on the website. But
then you end up with a lot of blacks somewhere in the middle of everything.
Right? Oh yeah, that's true, because they'll be slightly warmer, and then suddenly it's a brown, or a green, or whatever. Yeah.
All right, Urban, thank you so much. But before we're ending the show, you can come up with a question for our next guest, and the next guest is not confirmed yet, so I cannot tell you who's going to be the next guest yet, but there will be a next guest for sure. But we all don't know who's going to be the next guest.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it would be interesting to know where that person falls. So I think there's like 2 ways of using your stationery, or at least in our realm. One is you ink up a pen, or you start a notebook and you just finish, right? You have to use the pen until it's written dry and the ink is run out, even if you don't like it anymore, right? Or as a notebook, you just have to finish it until the last page. Or you are just someone who says, I don't like it anymore, I'll just dump it, or I switch notebooks. I think it's an interesting topic to see where people fall. So I think I have switched sides by now, and I'm now a whatever person, because I have so much ink and I can just I never go through it anyway, so why not just dump what I don't like? But yeah.
And notebooks as well?
Funny enough, I'm now using notepads mostly, so I can switch every day. Every day I write a new list, so I can use a new paper if I want to every day, which is nice.
I thought you were super into like the, what is it, the thingy 5-year whatever. Didn't we talk about that at some point?
No, that's too much. Even a notebook is hard to finish for me.
Oh wow. Interesting question.
It's an interesting question. I will ask it.
There's definitely a lot of guilt attached to it, I think. The not finishing things, I can understand that. If you don't want to be wasteful, you don't want to waste ink, you don't want to waste pages of a notebook, right?
Yeah, but how much ink are you wasting, right? It's like probably...
I know.
How much is it converted? 1 point some mil of ink, right?
Yeah, I'm more lenient about it now, but I don't, not finishing a notebook. Oof, it feels so good when you do it as well. It feels like a real accomplishment to finish a whole notebook to the last page. I don't know.
But it doesn't happen often enough.
No, it's true. And it takes years. It literally takes me years. Cool. Awesome question. Very interesting question.
That's a really great question indeed.
Yeah.
We're here at the end of the show now. Annabelle, I would like to thank you for being our co-host and, bearing me for the last 5 episodes.
It was rough. I have to admit
Yeah,
it.
I
It's
understand.
true. Yeah.
You will see me around in the store, or I will see you around in the store. But thank you so much, Urban. Thank you so much for being a guest on our show and telling us a little bit more about your website. And everybody that's watching this episode right now, make sure to head over to the website, create an account, and add all your data on the website, all the inks that you're using, all the pens that you have. Just add it so we have like this entire view of what the whole community is using. And it's so much fun. So please do that. Urban, thank you so much again.
Well, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, it was great. Everybody, thank you so much for watching or listening to the show. If you're listening to us through any podcasts, Spotify or whatever, Apple Podcasts, and if you're watching us through YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss out on an episode ever again. And we see you next week with another guest on another episode. Bye bye.
And another co-host.
Bye bye.
Also another co-host.
Bye.